Yes. We are four. We are four. Three boys and a girl. But the girl torai the other boys. Well, I am still 11. Mgbe ebido nwebe issue a. And my senior sister should be around 15 years. And we found out that na papi a na-etikari mami ihe, my father always beat my mother. That's the story. Reason not getting my mother here, but sometimes he doesn't come back home and my mother dare not ask him. He doesn't provide for us, my mother dare not ask him. And the major reason is this, that my mother is not fashionable to his own terms. Like, my mother is not up to the class of woman he should be moving around with. We lived in a city where my father works in one of the oil companies in Port Harcourt. So he was getting money. But my uncles from my mother's side got my father that job because my father and my mother met in school and started dating. And my father got my mother pregnant and he agreed to marry her. To remove shame from my mother, the uncles, the brothers got my father a job in one of the oil companies as a graduate. He started doing fine, seeing beautiful girls in Port Harcourt. My mother meant nothing to him. He doesn't come back home. Rent expires, he refused to renew. We suffered. My mother was so ashamed to go back to the brothers and tell them what is happening because they told her, even while you're pregnant, don't get married to this man. We believe the man got you pregnant because he saw that your family was doing okay. They told my father so, but he denied all this. But when my father started seeing money, he said my mother wasn't good enough. My mother, as someone who has seen a lot because of what she's going through, she even started being so dedicated in the church that dressing wasn't part of it for her. She was bent on making the family work. At a point, my father abandoned us. The rent expired. He didn't renew. He doesn't pay for our school fees. And my uncles took us home. We relocated from Port Harcourt to Enugu. I know how many times I called my father. My mother would say, I'm missing my husband. Call him. There was no response. Till a point, my father came back home and told my mother, after like 2 years, we've relocated back to Enugu, and my mother was still calling him. Told her, I wouldn't have anything to do with you. I've remarried, and my wife is pregnant. I want to return your bride price. I remembered all of us gathering around my mother, crying because she couldn't hold back her tears. She kept cursing my father. After all I did for you, we worked hard to get to this point and you abandoned me. I should have listened to my family. My father said, yes, I married you out of pity. It even made my sister to hit my father on the head that day and told him, you've been making my mother to cry. If you want to go, go. As a 15-year-old child. My father left that day. It was from my mother that I heard he returned the bride price and he said he doesn't want to have anything to do with any of us anymore. I never heard from my father till last year. And the number called. And the number said, Emeka. And I asked, who is that on the line? Because I can't remember anything about my father. Mind you, this is over 30 years. My sister got married. The traditional marriage was done in my mother's home. My father knew nothing about us. I remember my sister trying to go out with different men so that we can put food on the table. My mother didn't want to disturb his uncle. Still, our uncle came one day and saw us starving and told my mother, think of any business you can be able to do. I'm going to stand you on that. And that's how my mother started trading on food stuff. She'll go to the villages, bring the food stuff, and that food business grew so well that we all went to the university. We never went to my father's village anymore. None of the sibling or uncles ever asked after us. It is past 30 years now. Then I was 11, and now I'm about 36 years of age. And this man is calling me. Please, Nnemeka, nwa m biko, ka ị gbagharụ m. Save me. I am dying. Well, I wanted to know how things were for him. I was asking, what about your other children? He said that the wife gave him 3 girls and a boy, that the last boy, was caught with gun and he's now in prison. That the last time they went to check him in prison, they didn't know if he's dead or alive, but nobody hears anything about him again. I told him, what about your other daughters? And he's telling me that he doesn't know their whereabouts. Like one of them was giving birth at home. The other 2 went to live with a man, and the man didn't even pay their bride price. They don't know the man. I told him, so why are you calling me? He said, you people are the main family I know. I told him, but I don't know you. You're someone I used to know, and I cannot help you. I came back and told my siblings, and they said never for a man to abandon. In fact, our last child, my last brother, don't even know who my father is. I know that boy was asking my mother. My mother told him he is somewhere building another family. My brother has never, the last of my brother has never set his eyes on my father. And this man is begging. I told him, but to be frank, I don't know you. I came back and I told my mother. My mother just told me, please, remind me of your father. Please, I don't know him. The way he said he's done with me, that was the day I was done with him. Mind you, my mother didn't remarry. My mother never remarried. She was bent on giving us the best of education and the best of life. To my utmost surprise, my uncles from my father's side are now calling us. Well, to shock you, I've built in my mother's village. This is where we call home. And my uncles don't disturb me at all. That is my mother's brothers. They do not disturb me at all. We are comfortable there. Even my 2 other brothers are also married. And this is the place we call home. Now, my uncles from my father's side is begging. Ọbụna mmehie adịrọ, mgbaghara ama ndị, na-ekechakwa n'ama, eburu bata n'ụlọ. The blood is thicker than water. I asked them, how thick is the blood that a man will abandon his family for more than 30 years? How thick is the blood that even if you don't want my mother, what did we do? How thick is the blood that I wanted to write my YSSCE exam? I called this man and he laughed on the phone saying, and banked the call on me. How thick is this blood that my senior sister got married at the age of 19 years to escape poverty? And they called this man on the phone and he said that he doesn't have any other family apart from his present family. How thick is this blood that even my brother don't know who my father is and my father is not dead? How thick is this blood? And these people has been begging, obere ego gị zite, obere ego gị zite, ka enwe ike iduje nwoke a n'ụlọ ọgwụ, na o nwekwa ka ọ dị ọnwụgharị, na iwere ofu aka tie nwatakịrị ya, iwere ofu aka kpuchie tie azụ, na ịma nnebe ka ọ dịrị otu a, na ihe ọsọ gị mee na ọnya mụ. And I told him I don't know him. Now I'm bringing this message to you, Mother Ebiasogwa, to talk about it on the station. Am I right? My family we are standing together. My uncles from my mother's side, they are standing with us that this is our home and nobody is going to. We are all married, mind you. We are having our children and we are good. We don't even want to return to my father's house. But tell us, speak it out. Say it to Towerfm family. Am I right with my actions? This is the story of a man that is pained. This is a story of a man asking of his path. This is still Tower 88.1 FM, Nsukka. Reach your heights.